Hi, I'm Tiffany Patlin, host of the Tiffany Talks Health and Wellness podcast, where I discuss tools, tips, and techniques to heal your mind, body, and soul. I am on a godly mission to heal the world. Welcome to another episode of the Tiffany Talks Health and Wellness podcast. Today, our special guest is Ilana Lipari. She is a best-selling author, host of the Life School Masterclass show, and CEO of the Ilana Lipari Coaching Life School, where she helps visionary leaders build a life and business in alignment with their purpose so that they can have the time and money, freedom to make a bigger impact and create the success they desire. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tiffany. Glad to be here.
Happy to have you. I'd love to learn more about your backstory that led you to becoming the CEO of Coaching Life School. Where did it all begin?
Yeah, so I would say it began in my corporate career. I was a very unfulfilled corporate CEO and executive. I worked for a company for 15 years in the retail industry, Fortune 500. And there came a time, I actually was very happy for many years there. I was promoted every couple of years. The company was in growth mode. So I did a lot of marketing, sales, HR positions until I moved up the corporate ladder. And my latest position was an executive leader. The company was acquired by another company, so the culture changed. There was no more future there. And it really turned into a profit-driven culture, which was really felt from all angles. So that was pretty much my confusion time, or my transition time, so to speak, where I needed to figure out what is it that I was going to do, take another job, work in the same field and career that I was in for that many years, or start my own business. So I decided to do just that. I said, I'm going to build my own purpose-driven company. So I went out on a journey and been an entrepreneur now for over 5 years. I did some executive coaching, career coaching, and I've been positioned in helping as a high-level consultant in my company, helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs and corporations. I've gone back home with that as well through the channel of entrepreneurship, so they can do more good in the world by really living out their life's purpose.
I really love that. It's very commendable because it's not just a business. It's something that has purpose. And I know I was checking out your website, and you're actually an author who has books. And I saw that you have a new book coming out, Visionary Purpose-Driven Leadership, Connecting the Dots to Align Sustainable Business Success, the Complete Blueprint System. Would you please elaborate on what readers can expect from reading that book?
Yeah, so that's really the 7 foundational pillars that I've seen in my work as an executive leader, and also all the entrepreneurs and business leaders that I've helped to grow their companies. What are some of those pillars that everyone needs to know so they can really become that leader that creates an impact and drives a very holistic, healthy company, I should say. That's a very important value to me because, firsthand, I was that CEO that had a lot of monetary success, but was very unfulfilled, right, in all the rest of the areas of our lives. So I know firsthand that success now is from the inside out. I guess I've learned to really understand the value of that. And I think that's really depending on everyone's journey and definition of success. I think if you want to be a holistic person, first of all, you need to be healthy with yourself so that you could transfer that energy into your company, your family, your relationships, and everything else that we do as humans.
I would agree wholeheartedly. And this book is coming out when? In 2024?
Yeah, it's coming out in January 2024. And my book writing journey actually started as a speaking journey because I love to speak. And I put a lot of experience into this area. I was very comfortable with speaking my books, and it really felt like a great calling for me to really put a lot of my knowledge and expertise in a book, because it is that legacy product that I can, everybody can grab it, they can read it, and it can impact someone's life. Me being a life student, I always call myself always learning and growing. So after I've learned to develop more of the writing piece of the book writing, so now after this book that I'm writing on leadership and my other ones, I've learned to love the process of just condensing my knowledge and expertise in very biteable steps for people so they can take action. And I have committed to one new book a year. So the one on leadership is coming out in January.
Yeah, it looks like you've been hitting that mark because you have, correct me if I'm wrong, is it 4 other books already published?
Yes, 4 other books, 2 of them are bestsellers. Yes.
Wow. Congratulations to that.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And so I know that they're available on your website. Where else can people get your books?
They're also available on Amazon, but most importantly, book writing is one of those things that I teach under my foundational pillars to helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses and grow their companies, because it helps you with branding, right? It really leverages your expertise and authority, and it also opens up other opportunities for speaking, which is a great way to build trust with the work we do, because I serve entrepreneurs and companies that are in the service space. So it's not only that I love the process of writing and putting up my knowledge and expertise out there in the world for bigger impact, but it's also a great tool to leverage in your own company to really bring up that thought leadership to help you stand out and to build your brand overall over the years, because it does, it takes time to build a good, healthy brand, a vision, mission, and cause that people align with. So you are just looking at the vision that you have for many years to come as you are building your day-to-day, all the rest of the pieces in your business.
Yes, your legacy. I love how well-rounded you are. You can not only help people just with life in general, in business, speaking, and you can guide them along the author path. So I really love that. That's awesome. So somebody that it's like a one-stop shop with you. It sounds like they could just get everything, the full package. I wanted to ask you more about the Life School Masterclass show. That's your podcast?
That is my podcast. Yes. So that's another, I started learning by just listening to podcasts. So that always was like a near and dear thing to my heart. And plus it's so personal when you have,
Yeah.
the audio. I'm a audio learner myself. So just having that intimacy with sharing information and sharing your message through that channel. I call everything a channel. Social media is a channel. My books is a channel.
True.
Just right. I mean, windows where you can reach the right people that you want to serve. And that's kind of how I look at it, all of it. So podcasting is another one that I created. I love that I learn and grow in my podcast every day, because besides my solo episodes, I bring in so many other heart-driven entrepreneurs and purpose-driven business leaders, and we get to have these conversations. And personally, I find that every episode is like a master class. You always learn something insightful that you can apply in your life and business.
Is that how you came up with that name? Because you said that you believe that you're a lifetime student. Like, I get that. I totally get that, because we're never done learning, right? As long as you're eager and willing and wanting to, there's always something to learn. So I agree with you. But is that how you came up with that name for your podcast?
Yeah, you guessed it, because the name of my company is right back there. It's called The Life School, and that came out of one of my visions. And I said, whoa, entrepreneurship, it's like life. It's like you're in school every day, you're learning, you're growing, you're overcoming challenges, right? There's a lot of uncertainty, and sometimes you learn by the school of hard knocks. I mean, you can get support, obviously, and all of that. But so there was a lot of simulation between the experience of building a business and just our life. And especially if you believe in the work you do and it becomes your life's mission, I don't see any difference between my business and my life. It's all one thing. So I just put it all into that aspect of the Life School. And that's kind of how my company name came about.
I like how you chose that. It's very meaningful. And I love that it's like what you said about how it's two in one, because I can resonate with that. But that's all part of having that purposeful driven leadership, right? It's purposeful, it's part of your life. I love that. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you have the opportunity to grace the TEDx stage?
Yes, I did in NYU. That was so I had a beautiful connection that introduced me to an event they were doing here in NYU, and yeah, I was one of the chosen speakers there, and I was able to have a talk, 20-minute talk around how to align your life and business on purpose. That was an event that was done a couple of months back. Yeah.
What were some of your very insightful talking points to that you gave?
Oh yeah, so I talked about exactly what I usually talk about in the vision and mission, the clarity that we should have with that first, realizing what our potential is, and then how to actually use the channel of entrepreneurship to put that into practice, and what are those pillars that we can follow in our journey to bring this purpose into life in the form of a company or a business, so it creates more impact out there in the world. So I talked about how to connect the dots between sometimes these concepts in business that we kind of hear randomly, of that branding, marketing, sales systems, and team, and how all of those are actually connected, and how to bring those together so that you have a more holistic view to your life, and also you're building a healthy, profitable company.
Beautiful. I'm wondering, would you say that there's some level of mental health coaching in the coaching that you do when it comes to this?
Yes, I always say that I don't market myself as the on the life aspect of things, but of course, as you are building a company, a lot of your personal stuff comes up, right? It comes up for me all day, every day, and it comes up for the people that I see. So I've been trained in many modalities because I realized that, even I actually realized this very early when I was in HR, how a lot of the professional success is connected to your personal challenges and things that are holding you back, right? Mindset wise, trauma, and all of those things that happen. So that's really what I did in my business as well. So I help people with a lot of that, those personal challenges, because again, that gets in the way of the success that they're looking for in their business as well. So I'm trained in NLP, MDR, all these different modalities to just have more tools under my tool belt to help my clients in all those levels, which is why my perspective is holistic. Because again, what's the point of building a successful business if you have miserable relationships? And that will transfer to your company anyway. Or even a poor self-esteem, or a lot of mindset blocks with yourself, or imposter syndrome, and all these things, procrastination, perfectionism, all these things that usually show up. I always say that we think we grow our business, but our business grows us and it builds us. So it's really connected, but it's done in the day-to-day work that I do with my clients.
You basically answered the next question I wanted to ask you, but I'm going to mention it anyway. And I wanted to ask you, like, what were your thoughts on why people have these amazing, great ideas and passions, but they never go down the entrepreneurship, path? And I feel like you just answered that question. It's really all about their mindset. It's their personal life, how all of that can bleed into business, the self-esteem, the imposter syndrome. Who the heck am I to go accomplish this big, amazing dream that I have? But there's that famous quote. I hope I don't butcher it. The ones that are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. Do you know which quote I'm referring to?
Steve Jobs, yes. Or something with a rebel. I posted a while ago on my social media. But yeah, I mean, because for a lot of us, I mean, we're not even trained like this, culturally, and even in school, right? So we have 90% of our role modeling is you get a job, you go to school, you get a job. So a lot of time entrepreneurship is scary because it's a path, that you're almost like a trailblazer, right? Yes, there is other people that have reached the success that you're looking for, and there's companies that have the same business model that you align with and all of that, and that exists out there, obviously. But it is that kind of journey. And I personally was not model. I never would have thought that I would have been an entrepreneur. I thought that was my American dream, because my parents migrated here many years ago, and that's what I was groomed or programmed to follow.
Yeah.
I went to college and I was good. I climbed the corporate ladder. I was successful in my career. I had my kids. I had my marriage, my house, all of that stuff. And I'm like, wait, that's it? I'm so unhappy. So, you reach that and you realize that that's all the success that is given to you from the outside. So now people are realizing that, wait a minute, there's a lot of inner work and clarity and realigning of values that we need to personally do. So our success comes from within. And that is something that we can sustain for years to come. It's actually you're transforming. You never go back to the older version of yourself. So that's the transformative work that a lot of people understand and realize and apply. But I think it's also that because we're just not. We're taught how to be good followers, how to be good employees. And I have no problem with that because there's going to be entrepreneurship. I mean, there's a lot of us that if you are gifted in a certain area, you don't necessarily have that calling to build your own company. You can work on someone else's vision and mission, but just make conscious choices though. Try it out, test things out. And that's how whether that aligns with your inner potential or not. Otherwise, you just never know. You're just following what someone else is saying. And just, get the school of hard knocks in life and just sometimes, you go through a lot of pain. But nowadays we can learn from other people's experiences. That's what all these channels are doing, right? That's why I love the industry that we're in, because someone's been there, done that. So if I can save all those years and save my time, which is the most important commodity, I can always learn how to make money. So just understanding that there's a different way to do it. But yeah, I think it's also role modeling. It's just an unknown path for many people, and just a lot of mindset around business and failure and all of that. So I think that's also contributes to it.
Failure. You mentioned failure, and that makes me think about, I think it might be another quote about how, or maybe I can't even remember it right. It's just going to be butchered, but it's really all about like people look at failure as a negative thing. I don't. How do you view failure?
Yeah, I think it's just society programming us to just that perfectionistic culture that maybe at that point in time, they thought that that's how they were helping people. I don't know, but it's just reframing. I don't believe there's failure. It's just learning experiences
Yes.
that pretty much we expect something and we don't get something to happen around our expectation. So that's really how I define it. But at the end of the day, anything that you would like to achieve, any big win or small win or anything that goes your way and that matches your expectation, that's usually called success. And then the rest of it is just like trial and error to get there. But just the journey of transformation and all the lessons, if you're smart enough to derive the lessons, because I mean, I don't think everyone does that as well. You could just, keep, hurting yourself in the foot and doing the same thing. But if you're not conscious and aware to derive the lessons from that and not let those lessons stop you, because a lot of people do that as well. I mean, I used to do that too. I would self-sabotage and be like, well, I got hurt before, so I'm not going to try that again because pain. But just, again, utilizing the lessons, not to stop us from trying again, but to actually make us better decision making next time around. So every failure or every mistake we make just gets us more wise, so that we get a little bit closer to the right decisions that are meaningful to us. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yes, and you're just giving more examples as to why mindset is so important. It's how you look at failure. And like you said, if you choose to look at the lessons worth learning or just, be negative and get upset about it, it's all about your mindset and your perspective. So it's really important. And I'm glad that you teach on that, because somebody can teach on, business and how to do this and that. But then at the end of the day, you're just not going to be fulfilled inside like you've been talking about, which I wholeheartedly agree with. And I do remember that statement. 7 is not the right number, but I'm just going to go with it just to give the example. But if a person fails 7 times, they basically learned 7 ways that won't work, or 7 ways not to do something. Some of you out there listening might know which quote or statement I'm talking about. Feel free to comment about that. But it's true. Like you learned, oh, this is what not to do because it doesn't work. Okay, let me try again. And there's lessons in all of that. So I agree with you. Um, and I know you also have a Facebook group to support people, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, because I love community and I love connecting people together. I always say I connect dots in business and people together, because I love that, just people coming together for, with common values to learn and grow and towards, common vision. So yeah, I mean, my Facebook group is growing daily. It's on Facebook. It's called the Life School Community. And there's a lot of purpose-driven entrepreneurs that are part of that group. And also I have a very healthy community on LinkedIn as well. However, for the community feature, Facebook is still a really great place to host conversations. And I'm very active on there. We do a lot of events and things like that to really do just that, to help entrepreneurs to, build high-level relationships with one another, and build connections the human way, just like how what feels good to everyone. Because I think we're over the traditional tactics of how we were supposed to build a business, just like what they taught us. So, just genuine connection, and just value giving and service mindset. Service is big for me personally as well.
I love that. So do you visit people in person as well, or is it all virtual right now?
Yeah, I also run live events. So a lot of people from my communities, I should say, online, also have met me in person. So that's actually beautiful because I realized that, I mean, there's nothing like live interaction. If we can have that, that's the best one. But it just feels like you just know people. It's crazy. Like the energy just feels like, oh, it feels like the trust is already there, the foundation is there, and you just get to continue that conversation and look for new ways to add value to one another. So, yeah, we also do live. I do live speaking events and live virtual events.
Nice. And I encourage everybody to follow Ilana so that way you can catch her speeches, catch her support groups, and things like that. One thing I wanted you to share with us is perhaps one of your favorite success stories of a student, somebody that came to you that maybe had those inner fears of, imposter syndrome. Who am I? And how you succeeded in helping them succeed by fulfilling their mission.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my latest, actually, I just had a session before coming on here, and is this amazing entrepreneur that is actually the founder of Face Yoga in mainly Eastern Europe, because I also do a lot of work in Eastern Europe because that's where I'm natively from. And she hasn't been successful in kind of getting the traction and the impact she was looking for. So we worked on a lot of old stories that she had about charging the correct pricing for the transformation that she was actually able to provide for her clients. And then we started implementing a lot of the foundational pieces in her business, with as far as what are the channels that she needs to use, how to connect with the right people that she was looking for, and how to start building some of the different pieces in the business so that she worked more on purpose and she wasn't just putting out her energy all over the place with no real focus. And I always work on 2 levels with a lot of my clients for the company growth aspect, which is building their brand and working on cash flow and income producing activities. Because if you just work on building your brand and you don't have this other one, then you can't sustain that. And we need both. So we have that monetary income to support our lives and all the other things that we want to do. So those are always my focuses with all my clients, depending on their life cycle of their business, whether they're just starting out, they've been in the space for a while, or they're just bigger companies looking to grow beyond their market. So yeah, with her, obviously she was able to connect with 3-4 new clients that she just brought on board, and she's working with them on her new program that we developed together. And now we're putting more pieces into the business so that she can continue to make the impact that she's looking for, while she stays very focused on those brand building activities and income producing activities.
Beautiful. And so if people want to connect with you, can they do that through your website, ilanalaparicoaching.com?
Yep, my website is the best hub to find a lot of the work that I do. So yeah, they're more than welcome to visit me up there. I also have a free masterclass for your viewers, and that's where I teach my foundation framework of how to grow a healthy holistic company with consumer and corporate clients, actually, because there could be a lot of people now that want to serve corporations. Thankfully, a lot of corporations are waking up, meaning to the new practices of doing business. So that's a big opportunity to create impact that way as well.
Thank you so much, Ilana, for coming on and sharing with us your brilliance and how people can connect with you and all the ways that you're serving people. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for holding the space. Such a beautiful conversation. I hope this served your audience.
I'm sure it did. So thank you so much. And thank you to all you listeners out there. We will see you on the next episode. Bye now.